Hi, everyone. This is Nanette Telemack of In Essence Virtual Assistants in Newbury, New Hampshire. And we're starting our broadcast with just myself today, so be kind, please. Unfortunately, health and family issues for Tammy and Lisa, respectively, have come up. But instead of canceling this, I decided to go ahead and with this topic. Because it was kind of last minute when something happened, and I thought it was best that we just continue. So it'll just be me. And so with that said, I'd love for this to be more interactive. So please, give me your thoughts, give me your experiences and questions, and make this as interactive as possible. Now, typically, the VA to VA Mastermind consists of Tammy Durden of Tammy's Office Solutions, and out of Virginia, and then there's Lisa Kolb, Augusta Virtual Assistants out of Georgia, and both of them are usually my pals while we're doing this. But the reason for this topic basically is that Lisa and I have been talking about what topics to bring up for this month. And we started talking about in situations that we found ourselves in that were unfamiliar territory, different markets that we weren't used to, that were brought to us by either a client or a referral, and how we took them on. And that hit us right then and there, that's a great topic to talk about, moving into different niches. So with that, I wanted to just go over what Lisa was going to talk about, and that is, well, first off, why it's important to have a niche. And, many service providers are afraid they may be limiting their prospects by narrowing down their offerings, but to have a niche can catapult you into business success, because you're focusing on one segment of a market and being able to provide services. So a lot of you, whether you're just starting out and want to know how to find a niche, that's why you would want to do it, to bring customers to you right away. And then for existing virtual assistants who already have that niche, and bringing in customers, you may want to consider branching out to a new, bringing in a new niche, because of the fact that things can dry up, your markets can get saturated with other competitors, people like yourself, and so or you just use up as many prospects that are in your area. So branching onto a new niche does a couple of things for you. It strengthens some more skill sets that can make you more viable to your prospects, and it also start this. Okay, let's start this again, because I think I've been on mute. So that's the beauty of being by yourself. You never know. Welcome to the VA to VA Mastermind group. Excuse me, I'll have to gather my thoughts now, because I've been busy talking and nobody can hear me. Today, typically we have three of us, and Tammy Durden of Tammy's Office Solutions out of Virginia, and also Lisa Kolb of Augusta Virtual Assistants. Both ladies had issues, either health or family issues that came up suddenly. As most of you know, Tammy is healing, and we wish her good health. Lisa found out just prior to going on live that she had family issues to take care of. So I decided I'd just continue on with the segment anyway, because it was kind of last minute to stop, and I didn't want to do that. So that's why we're here. And so I ask your patience with me as we talk about this topic of finding new niches, exploring new niches for your business. And with that, I will talk about touch on what Lisa had, her segment was going to bring up, and that is why it's important to have a niche. If you're just starting out and you're wondering why do you need to have a niche, the best reason is because you can it can get you more customers, and if you're existing virtual assistant and already have a set of customers in a certain segment or niche, then you understand that it helps bring the business in for you. Many new service providers are afraid that they may be limiting their prospects by narrowing down their offerings, but finding that niche can catapult your business to success and steady clients. So that's why you would want to do that. Finding a niche and getting very focused in one service offering was the best thing for Lisa to do, that ever happened to her business, because it helped her become an authority figure with real estate. That's what she does. I think she's also paralegal, and for her, focusing on one specific thing, then being a Jill of all trades was better. Worked for her and continues to work for her. She feels that doing what you enjoy helps with productivity, increases your confidence and abilities. And that's why she decided that it was a good idea to have a team, and then from there, branch out, be able to meet more needs in that niche market. And so how do you find that niche? We should touch on that before we talk about finding other niches. But, you list the most desired projects you've worked on, PowerPoint presentations, managing a project be helpful. Mail, these are all newsletter areas of place. Those are all skill sets that you should be lining up, so that we're looking where is the need in the marketplace? What I would say, what segments could use your help, and so that's the next step after finding out what your skill levels are. It's going out into marketplace and seeing where those needs are, and that's what you want to do. So niches you could explore would be Pinterest marketing, podcast booking, systems management, multimedia editing, marketing technology. The list can go on. So what you want to do is that once you find those niches in these particular areas, then you want to go out and see where is that need. And that means talking to people. That means going out and maybe talking to your existing customers if you have them. If you don't, make the effort to make an informational call to a couple of industry areas of small businesses in your towns, asking them what is their most important need, what is it that they can't seem to wrap their head around or do, or they don't like doing, and get an idea from them. If they, what is their 1 to 5, areas that they could really use some help in, and then that's called market research, of course, but that can give you an idea of if the skill sets matches the need out there. And don't be afraid to go outside of your local area. As a virtual assistant, you can go anywhere. I mean, the next state over if need be. So don't be afraid to do that either. That's one thing. Now, say you're established in a niche and you're doing well. A lot of business are coming in, and so you haven't really found the need to go outside of your comfort level or look at another market segment. Or and my thoughts on that is that you want to do that. You want to do it regardless if you're getting good sales coming in. And the reasons why is that having multiple revenue streams is protection in case customer opportunity starts to dry up, or markets become saturated with competitors, or or the good part about it trains you, it brings you out of your comfort level. You're expanding your services. You're becoming more, viable. And so why not do that? So how do you see this? That you could, well, the way you would do that is you want to step away from a narrow perspective. The segment you've been working on, okay? You want to become a third-party observer, and put your marketing cap on. When you branch out into different niches, you need to see it as a potential revenue stream and not a fearful, uncharted territory. So, broaden your horizons in that way. See it as a challenge that's going, there must be other things you would like to learn. So keep your ears open, listen when your customers are asking for something that you don't provide or you don't know how to provide. Can you learn from that? Can you learn how to do it? Is it worth subcontracting someone at that point to handle that aspect? Say you don't really want to learn that. So because if somebody comes to me and says, I need, can you do some bookkeeping? I don't want to learn. I don't want to expand myself to that level. I hate numbers, so I'm not going to do it. But do I want to lose that opportunity? So of another revenue source. So I probably consider subcontracting someone who does bookkeeping, and that is a reciprocal. It does two things. It's a reciprocal relationship. I'm bringing her in. She has her own business of bookkeeping. I'm bringing her into my business and giving her revenue. And so she's going to think about that when she's doing bookkeeping for another small business that say, I just can't get these documents together. I need some help with social media. And then she can say, well, I have someone for you because we've done that. I brought her in, and so she could bring in a new customer for me. So that's something underserved in your area. I found there's a need in my area. What I found is that there's a need for independent real estate and property managers just for document creation, flyers, data entry. A lot of them a couple of them had come to me. One was a referral from a friend that had a friend that was an independent agent, a real estate agent who is just struggling to keep her head above water. And then the other one was just somebody who happened to be asking for help as a property manager. And for both I'm not in real estate. I really don't know real estate market except, when I was looking for a house. But I wasn't going to shy away from that because I know this area and I know who's around me, and it's a niche that I can fulfill. And that means a learning curve for me, but it's worth it. And I can start slowly doing what I know I could do for them, and then hopefully they would teach me their processes that I can pick up because to help them even more. So in my area, I found that there is a need here. So my first thing that I'm doing is sending newsletters out to independent real estate and property managers, and talking to them that if you need this help, I'm here. So that's a niche that I'm going to be going into that's out of my realm of experience. So that's something that you could think to do. So look out in your market area. See what is being underserved in your area. And Another thing you could do is see in your areas how many small businesses are without websites. There's a lot of businesses that could be coming, who've been around for a while, and or are just establishing themselves, and they don't have a lot of money. So maybe you can go to them and have a niche where you're offering them a special price for a simple one-page website that's just going to give them awareness and get people to contact them. There are small packages that you could be the one that provides to them, because they could do it themselves, but it's a learning curve for them. So if you already have that experience, you could say, well, I know GoDaddy has GoCentral, which you could get a hosting a cost at a very cheap level, and package it and offer it to people who are just small businesses in the area that's just starting up but need a presence, need a website presence. So you can do something like that and offer it to them, and you do it. And so this can give you some extra revenue source. So think about that when you're think about that when, thank you, Colette. Subcontracting is a great concept. You want to keep the revenue coming in. So anyway, that's another thing that you can do. So think outside the box and don't be afraid to do that. Google small business trends to see what is gaining momentum. There's a magazine, a newsletter that I get called Small Business Trends. And I like to look at it. A lot of times there's nothing there, but it gives you insight on what are the trends happening with small businesses. Get that newsletter, Google, and sign up for it. It comes in your email. And you can see how things are changing, because, in this market, as a virtual assistant, companies are constantly changing. Nothing stays static. People are moving in a flow in different ways, and other things are becoming more important. So, get those newsletters and read up on where small businesses are going, and what their concerns are, what's new for or upcoming, so that you can prepare yourself and be ready for those new niches. You can also use Google Trends to see the interest in your region. Google Trends if you Google Trends, it'll come up, and it allows you to see the searches that are going on, not only in the country, but also the sub-region and your state. And you can find out the interest. You can find out the interest people have, what they're looking for. Maybe if you type in virtual assistant, you can see all the people who are looking for virtual assistants in your area. It may be high and it may be low, but one of the things I like about the Google Trends is that you put in a keyword and it will give you related topic searches. So when you talk about segmenting a market to smaller segments of a larger market, that will help you find them with Google Trends, because it's giving you related topic searches. What searches are rising up, which means becoming an issue. What are the top ones? And you can use filters to search by the hour, which is not helpful, I don't think, but by week, by 30 days, by 90 days, or a year. And you can see, the trends of what people are looking for in services that you may have, or you can begin to have, to bring in more customers and niches. It also gives you related queries as well. So I found it very helpful. You can get lost in doing it, but kind of give yourself some keywords of your skill sets, and then use that to see how you can find what people are looking for, so you can find the niche markets that are right for you. And break down. There's some research that you do before you start looking. First off, right, what do you want to do? What is your skill sets? What is it you have to offer? Secondly, looking out in the market and doing market research. What do people need? Is there a match between what you have to offer? What do you need to train yourself on? to meet those needs. So that's sort of like the roadmap that you want to do to find your niche market. You start off with yourself and what you're good at and what you need to learn. And then you're looking at the market, and then markets are big. You could say marketing, but that's huge. That's a huge industry. So now you're going to want to have to pare that down to different segments of those industries. So whether it's fitness, whether it's health, medical, whether it's marketing, small business, that's even big, right? I tout myself as helping small businesses, which means everybody, but what does that mean? So you want to pare it down to very specific groups. You give. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about finding sub niche markets. So here you have this. You could say I work with real estate. Well, that's huge. So now you want to bring it down, the segments down to, well, I'm going to just talk about property managers, just people who buy houses and rent them out, or, just property manage or manage, different properties. And then I have skill sets that they seem to need, which is building a CRM database. So now I can become a CRM database expert for property managers. So now you've taken a niche market and you've pared it down to sub niches to a very specific group of people, and you can sell your skill sets of creating through Zoho or any Salesforce or a database, and you're the database expert for those property managers. You have a database for them. You keep the information up to date, and maybe follow-up calls for these for them. So here you have now a service that you can provide in a sub niche market of a bigger niche. Or another example of that. Oh wait, I'm going to read this. So Colette says, I always start with what you know, and you can always change direction, and that's so true, Colette. You do start with what you know, and then you find by starting with what you know leads you to different paths. Because things open up. You get to know people, and then all of a sudden they say, "Hey, can you do this?" And you may go, you know what? I don't see why I couldn't. And that could lead you. I think that's what happens to Lisa. One of our customers wanted her to do a journal, and she never did that before. But she said, but two of them collaborated together and worked together and had it done. So now Lisa has another skill set that she can offer her customers, or into a new niche of people who do journals a lot. So that's the kind of thing that you want to do. Another way of paring down to sub niches is, say, you could say I go after entrepreneurs. Well, that's broad. So what you could do is say, I'm going to do just startups, and then I'm going to bring that down. I love technology, so I'm going to do app developer startups. I'm going to concentrate on that group of people. And I'm going to do business plan writing. I'm going to be the business plan writer expert for app developers of startups. So, that's what you want to do, is kind of pare down to a specific group that you offer, a very specialized service to them, and which can probably be, obviously be used by any startup, but you're focusing on one group of people. And so that's what I mean by, that's what's called sub-niching into from one big, market, but then you're segmenting it down to something that's very specific, and that can help you bring revenue source in. Another thing that you could do, and this tip is not really niche related, but could be helpful for bringing in new resources, and can lead to a niche. But partner yourself with other businesses that could be helpful to you. A reciprocal partnership is what it's called. When I was a technology sales person, I was a strategic alliance manager, and what that meant was that you went out and found complementary businesses that can add value to what you do, and then work on a relationship. We work in a relationship together where they include my products with theirs, and sold it together. So, or they had a complementary software that went with, that could be packaged along with what I do. So in that sense, it's a beneficiary relationship, partnership, and sometimes they can be one time, or a couple, just a short period of time, or they can be long term. And what that means is that you share your database, basically, or they share it with you, where they can say, for instance, accounting companies, accountants that deal with small businesses. You could work out a reciprocal relationship where you say, when you bundle your services, maybe can you bundle mine along with your database of leads, if you need this added service of someone who does administrative tasks for you, then, or invoicing, or cold calling or whatever, then I would do, that I would have a reciprocal relationship with you, and vice versa. If I have a customer and they need to book an accountant, I'm going to you. So that's something. It's great relationship. But you have to go out there and talk to them and say, I offer services to small business. I know you do too. Can we have a reciprocal relationship where, as you're dealing with companies who are becoming LLCs or looking for you to draft their contracts, that you let them know about me, and I will do the same with you. And is that possible? That adds value to them as well as to you, and is a win-win situation. So think about that. And although that's not really a niche, it's a good way to find some more a possibility of more clients. So that's some of the things that I want to talk about. My question to all of you out there is, what are you finding? Are you having difficulties looking for that niche, or just finding customers? What has been your experience out there? So, has anyone had that? I'll give you a moment to see if anyone types in. But I would love to know what worked for you and what you found became beneficial. So those are the things that I was talking about. We were all talking about in terms of finding that new niche market. Now there are some people who are living in rural areas, and that becomes even more. It becomes harder to do. Living in the city. Sorry, must be going out. Living in the city is kind of easy to find a niche market, to find little segments of the population that you can sell to. But what do you do when you live in a rural area or a small town? That's when I think definitely reaching out to attorneys, definitely reaching out to accountants that are in the area for reciprocal relationships would work. I would say that joining a chamber of commerce and asking to present what you do to them would be helpful. That's another way of finding out what the needs are out there and how you could serve those potential customers. To me, if you do, like myself, live in a rural area, I do a triage. I'm always looking at different markets. So the closest town to me is 30 miles either north or south. So I'm looking at those areas outside of my little town, and I'm also looking, in different states. And so that's where the niche market really becomes important, because if I go into the next state over, which is Massachusetts, that's busy. That's a lot of people, and there are a lot of competition there. So now I really need to work on my niche market. So I do my Google Trends. I find out what's going on in Massachusetts, and then based on my skill sets and what I find myself doing a lot more, then I start focusing on and breaking down different segments. There's more segments there than probably up here that I can go after, and there's actually more opportunity to find people than probably in my town. But I do that, but I also do a lot of networking and meet people, because in a small town, meeting you face to face means so much in terms of getting business. So I will do that. So there's a triage effect. I'm doing online searches, and I'm doing I'm calling, cold calling, and I'm also my risk. But the markets that I know that I have a good chance of closing the opportunity to work with. And then I'm also going out and educating in my town what I do and how I can help. And so those are the three things that I'm constantly doing and managing my time to do. So those are some of the steps that I felt we could cover. Actually, I can get into another one is the Google keywords from Google Ads. That's another way of finding out what markets you can get into. So I would suggest doing those. It's some research, and you have to spend the time to do it. But it's well worth it, because what you want to do is constantly get your business moving forward. You never want to be complacent because you have enough customers coming in. Because you never know. Markets change all the time. People change. What they decide to do changes. And you never want to find yourself stuck wondering what where the next customers are going to be. So you want to always train yourself on new technology. You always want to look at market trends, small business trends of what's going on. You want to reach out and network in your areas to find out how people are thinking, what kind of help they need. You want to always assess your skill sets and where you're maybe missing an opportunity. And you want to look at reciprocal partnerships with other businesses that can who are working with the same customers but are not competitors, and then try to combine your resources together. So those are the areas that I wanted to talk about in terms of niches and finding a niche. And I'd love to hear from you, or any questions you may have, or any clarification that may be helpful. Please type in the chat on the page on the side and let me know what you're doing or what you found was successful for yourself. We'd love to hear from you. Let's see what we have, what anyone was saying here. Let's see. Okay. Well, let's see. Let's see what someone's saying. Okay. So with that said, this is pretty short, unfortunately, but since it's just me and I don't have the prospects of the insights of Tammy or Lisa at this one. So, but if there's any questions that you have, please feel free to email at va2va for you at gmail.com, or just post on this. This video will be up on YouTube, and post your questions, and we'll all be happy to add to it. If you have some suggestions yourself, love to hear it, because you never know. one of the things that we like about the VA to VA Mastermind is that we all share, and we always wanted to be interactive, all here to help each other to learn. And I hope these suggestions give you some thought about how to go out and look for your opportunities, the next opportunities, and shoot me an email if you want me to expand on anything that I've talked about. And you can reach me at inessenceva@outlook.com. And so with that said, I'm going to end this short video, and I'm happy that you joined. And take care and have a wonderful weekend.